I got to this stage. I've just always thought, like in my head, like God only gives you what you can handle, right? Whatever it is that I'm going through, if I'm going through it, it means that I can handle it, right? That means nothing is too big for me that I cannot kind of get through. Hello, my name is Gloria Malinzi. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that it's been a minute since I've uploaded any video, and I just want to take the time to thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I believe it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I posted on Instagram asking for, I did that get to know me tag, right? So I just posted get to know me, and I just wanted for, anyone that's on there to ask me a question that they're curious about, and I'll film a video answering those questions, because I feel like I've been uploading a lot of videos on how to do this and how to do that, different tips and tricks, but I didn't really ever get the time to just talk about myself and just, for the person that doesn't know me personally, so they can get to know me better, right? And so I just want to thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button, hit the comment button, hit the share button, all that good stuff that you would do to support the channel. Yes, and we're not going to waste any time. We're going to dive straight in. Before that, I would like to say that I already answered one of the questions in my previous video on how to build confidence. So I answered one of the questions there, and then I got some other questions that I wanted to do a separate video for, and as well I just searched for some questions online, and I thought we'll add it on there so that I can film and answer as many questions as I possibly can today. So let's not waste any time, let's dive in. Another thing I want to say, the way I've seen people filming these get to know me's is like they're going through the questions with their phone, but in my case I'm using my phone to actually film this video, and so I cannot use that to view. So what I did, I just wrote the questions down, and so yeah, that's how we're gonna get into it. Okay, so one of the questions was what is your biggest fear? So my biggest fear, I have mentioned it before in some of the videos, failure and rejection. That's one of the reasons why I did a full video on rejection and how to overcome, that fear. If you're trying to do something, start something new, and you're, terrified. I was afraid as well, but I ended up, starting this channel and everything. And so I did a full video explaining, how to overcome that. And of course, rejection is going to show up in my life in different areas. But in that video, I just share a few tips. So, and now failure is another one. But of course, even as I'm doing videos for this channel, I am facing that fear as well. And so I do plan on doing another video on, the fear of failure and how to overcome that, right? Another question was pet peeves. Pet peeves, for me, the biggest immediate thing I thought of was liars. I hate liars. Some people just choose to lie for no reason, making up stories for no reason. Those kind of people, when I sense that you're lying to me, or a person that when you confront them with something, instead of owning up to it and being responsible, being accountable, they're choosing to take the lying route instead, that is my biggest pet peeve, and I hate it. Personally, I try to be as truthful as I possibly can. I try to be an honest person. I love honesty. I'm very big on, opening up and, being vulnerable, all that good stuff. And liars are just the worst. Even if you're a friend that is a liar, a relationship that is a liar, I cannot be in it. I hate it. Okay, where were you born? So I was born in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, in Mikocheni, for those of you that know. Born and raised there. Some people have been asking if I've ever been to a boarding school. I never did boarding school. I just did day school. And yeah, I did my primary school in Dar, my primary, my secondary, and then my uni, that's when I left and I went to Switzerland to do that. Okay, what is your favorite childhood memory? With my childhood, I actually grew up, my parents were not together. My dad was living in one house, my mom was living in one house, and how I grew up is that I would go back and forth. So I would spend some time with my dad, and my siblings and all of that good stuff, and then I would also spend time with my mom separately. So I have, when it comes to childhood memories, it is separated. With my mom, my favorite memories, basically, I remember it would happen, it wouldn't even have to be a weekend, it would be like a weekday, a weekend, whatever. We would just walk, because we were living a few minutes This was when I was really, really young. A few minutes to the beach, but it was like walking distance. So I remember sometimes my mom and I, we would just take a walk and go to the beach, and it would just be her and I spending time together by the ocean. And that was a really, really good memories for me. And then with my dad, it was with my siblings. So with my dad, I remember every Friday we would go to this place. It was called Sun Club, and we would just go like every Friday. Go there. They had swings and everything, and then just have dinner or lunch, whatever it was. And then Sundays we would go to this place called Wet and Wild, for swimming, slides, all that good stuff. Eating ice cream, eating chips and chicken, and all of that, and it will just be a blast. Like when I think of my childhood memories, those were the two main ones that I could think of. And yeah, when I think, it's very sweet that I got to experience that. I know I'm definitely blessed. Moving on, favorite movie or TV show. I do not have a favorite movie. TV shows, I used to be your reality girl, so everything reality was my favorite. Real Houses of Atlanta, dating shows, The Bachelor, Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, all that good stuff. I still watch Love is Blind, I watch Real Housewives here and there, but it's not as much as I used to, definitely. And I wouldn't say those are my favorite TV shows right now. So I would say Narcos, that is on Netflix. Drug dealing TV shows, Pablo Escobar. So Narcos I really, really enjoyed. It had like 4 seasons. They were all amazing. And yeah, other shows like Suits, Prison Break. It was so good. But yes, when I think of favorite TV shows, that's it. Next. Favorite food, it's different. Like back home and here, it's different. So back at home, I love me some rice and some beans and some chicken, chips mayai, mishkaki, if you know, you know. That'll be back home. And then here, when I go out, for example, like in a restaurant, I would always just go for like barbecue ribs with some mashed potatoes. And I also like sushi. I love sushi. So sushi would be like number 1 right now when I'm here. Okay, next question. Your favorite quote. My favorite quote is, whether you think you can or can't, either way you are right. So this is by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or can't, either way you are right. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, if you believe you can, guess what? You can. If you believe you cannot, guess what? You cannot. Okay, and my other favorite quote, this even my siblings will attest that I used to say this all the time. I still say it to this day, and that is, God only gives you what you can handle. Right now, of course, getting to be more religious, getting to be more spiritual, but I used to, even before I got to this stage, I've just always thought, like in my head, like God only gives you what you can handle, right? Whatever it is that I'm going through, if I'm going through it, it means that I can handle it, right? That means nothing is too big for me that I cannot kind of get through. And then of course, now that I'm going to church and everything else, now I know that, especially with God by my side, then of course I can handle it. Like whatever comes my way, I can handle it, I can deal with it, I will make it through, I will be fine. All right, what is something people might be surprised to learn about you? Something surprising may be that growing up I actually wanted to be a pilot. I was thinking like in high school I need to take physics and geography and maths, be good at that. But I don't know, somewhere along the way, my parents were just not in. Like I feel like they didn't really support me, like encourage me to kind of follow it through. And I'm thankful as well, because right now I would not want to do that. But basically, their advice was that, you're going to, typical African parents thinking of marriage and all that, and they're thinking like, you're a woman, you're going to get married one day, you're going to have children, and being a pilot, that means you're half the year and you're not going to be around for your family, right? So they didn't fully say no for me not to pursue, but they were just not encouraging me to do it, and so I ended up not following through. But another thing that has been really laying on my spirit to share is that, because I'm a joyful person in general, I'm a cheerful person, really good energy, really good vibes. I like to laugh, I like to have a good time. Sometimes people feel as though I don't get sad, I don't cry, and all of that. And you may be surprised to know that I do have those days as well. I have experienced really, really, really low lows. There was a time that I was living in this apartment building, and I literally was thinking of jumping off the balcony. I was thinking, like, I don't want to be here, so how can I jump off this balcony and just end my life, kind of thing. And so that may be surprising, right? But basically what it is that it's just extreme sadness, extreme depression, where I just did not see kind of like a way out, or I did not see a future, right? So I don't know. Of course, now I know like God was with me, and obviously I did not follow through, right? And I was thinking at some point that, you know, if I have to do this, I have to call the line, like the national whatever line, to say this. I thought, oh my gosh, the police are going to come here. It's going to be a huge spectacle. And I think just that as well, like that idea in my mind, and of course God being there with me, I ended up not following through. But I was saying all that to say that there is that quote, like, check on your strong friends. I don't know, but basically it doesn't matter. Like I'm very like positive. I'm in a good mood. I'm the person that will, you know, lift people up, lift my family, my friends up, and be a really good energy. But I do as well, I'm human, and so I do experience feelings of sadness, you know, feelings of depression sometimes, you know, in and out of depression for a number of years now. So yeah. I ended up not crying, thank God. Okay, another thing, favorite book. I've shared this before, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I've shared that for creatives, all of my creatives out there, please, if you're thinking of, you know, if you're already on the journey, if you're thinking of starting the journey, please read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Another book that I really enjoyed was by Yvonne Orji. So she's a comedian. She's Nigerian, living in America, and she's a comedian. She has her book called Bamboozled by Jesus, and it's just, you know, it's like autobiography, just explaining her journey and up to where she's at now. And what I really enjoyed about that book is that I've read other kind of like autobiography books, and it's a lot of fluff, like a lot of empty quotes and just fluffy. I don't know if you're a reader, you know, when it's a lot of fluff and when it's actually like deep, good advice and stories, right? So her book is really good. It's not fluff at all. It's just step by step. This is what I did. This is what you can do as well. All that good stuff. Okay. Favorite place you have traveled to? This would be Sydney, Australia. So I lived in Australia for about a year, but I was not living in Sydney. I was living in Canberra, which is like the capital of Australia. But I visited Sydney for a few days. I don't know if it was 10 days or whatnot. But yeah, it was a really good trip. I loved Sydney. I went to the Opera House, the Darling Harbour. I went to a bunch of places, but I really loved the city, loved the people. The food was lit. The weather was lit. I absolutely loved it. And I would want to go back one day. And we'll finish off with my favorite Bible verses. So my favorite Bible verses, I have this tattooed on me, and that is Proverbs 3:5-6, that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not in your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will lead your path straight. Essentially, it's just all about faith and trusting God. Sometimes things don't make sense, the path is not lining up the way you thought it would, but just, you know, don't try to think of it with your human brain, but rather, you know, trust God and trust his vision for you, kind of thing. And then of course, Matthew 7:7, ask and you shall receive, seek and you will find. So yes, of course, I love that Bible verse as well. It's hopeful, right, that we can ask for something and it will be given to us, right? All right. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been filming for the longest time. Thank you for reaching up to this point of the video. If you're listening, then of course you have. I want to thank you so much for that. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye.